Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on when this finds you. I hope you're having a great day. If you haven't started, hope you have a great day. And if you finished, hope you had a great day. I just wanted to make this video today to clear the air, so to speak, if you want to call it that. And if you notice, I'm not uploading every week like I once was. You know, the Bible says, don't cast your pearls among swine. I'm not calling them followers swine. Um, but the platform is doing everything it can to minimize my voice. So why continue to put all my best efforts into releasing content on this platform and looking at, I mean, y'all give me some feedback, where do you, what platform do you think I would be more effective on? Y'all can let me know that. And, like I said, I got plenty of stuff, but why throw all my stuff into a place that's not going to reward me, is going to minimize my voice, and is going to do everything they can to make sure nobody hears me, even going to as so far as removing my content. So, why keep putting all your best energy and effort into a platform such as that? But, when I say I want to clear the air, I guess I should have said, what's your trigger point? Because apparently, some of my videos trigger different people, just depending on the subject area. And the thing many of us need to learn is that when Father Yah uses someone, a lot of times it's not the person you thought he should have used. Because most of the times you don't hear a person like that say they were called like all these other charlatans. And but when he decides to use somebody, he'll a lot of time, put them out of their families. He'll kind of separate them from lukewarm Bible followers. He'll kind of separate them from lukewarm friends. This person, a lot of times, most of the time, become isolated, and the person be tested. A person is going to go through many trials and a lot of suffering. It's at this time that the person becomes dead to the opinions of others, and not just that, but dead to themselves. And because this person has walked through this fire all alone, it's kind of like if you've done any, I use gardening for example. If you've done any gardening, you've seen a ground uh, that's been scorched by fire. You can come back, and as long as it's just a pure fire, not chemical based and all that other stuff, nuclear radiation and all that stuff. You come back and you can plant in that ground, uh, and your vegetables and fruit will thrive better than they did before the ground was purified. To say, for example, I guess you make a point, but also if you know anything about gardening, if you have any type of wood ash where you've burned wood, you can take some of that wood ash and actually put it in your soil, and that helps it grow too. Think about, a building or a house burns down. Normally, when it gets rebuilt, it's actually built better than it was before. So, that's what walking through the fire alone is going to purify you. Because you have to be cleansed before you can be used properly. And when you're doing this process, and I'm not just talking about the church system, but most of your churches will not accept you because of your mindset. Most of your professing Christians are gonna hate you, even though they say we're supposed to love. The rest of the world's gonna mock you, and I saw that on comments of one of the videos a few weeks ago. When one dude said I didn't know nothing about history, the other dude said I didn't know nothing about the Bible. Okay, and you know what? You absolutely correct. I'm not gonna argue with you, but one of the things I'm finding out more and more from people is the minute you go against the grain in whatever situation they themselves are involved in, a dead fish are going to start to correct you. And, what's a dead fish? A dead fish can only go with the flow of the river because they're not strong enough to swim against it. I mean, if you're going to get mad at me for not siding with the culture of the world, you're just going to be mad at me. I've been critical of the educational system. I've been critical of the political system, the legal system, the medical system, the religious system, the family agenda, the human life agenda, gentrification, democratic loyalty by blacks, discrimination against black, class hatred among blacks, and any other thing you can think of. You know, while some get upset with people who share the truth, people they trust are poisoning the meat we eat through the livestock, on these corporate control farms. They're poisoning the produce. Matter of fact, I just saw a senator the other day talking about how they're putting mRNA vaccines in lettuce and tomatoes now. You can't even trust your organic produce anymore. I saw the other day, a couple of days before that, where they're talking about your beef can be classified now as grass fed as long as the farm allows your cattle to eat beef 30 days before they send it to the slaughterhouse. And so they're manipulating everything. They're poisoning the seeds you plant. Why can't you take the seeds that you buy from the big box stores and regrow anything other than a plant? You're not going to get any vegetables from it. Why can't you grow potatoes from potatoes in the store most guys? Because there's a sprouting agent on it to keep it from sprouting. Why do we have to spray everything and put something in everything? How many bioengineered foods are on the market right now? I actually have a list of all the companies that are owned by pretty much one company, all GMO, which means they're all bioengineered. But I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't do enough studying. But these people trust the people who hurting them, and they get mad at the people who trying to help them. See, they're not poisoning this stuff to make you die. They just want to make you too sick physically and too sick mentally, where you can't have the strength or the mental capacity to fight back and recognize what happened to you. You say, I don't ever believe we landed on the moon because of what the Bible says. Now, I was taught just like you from elementary all the way up. We landed on the moon. We landed on the moon. We landed on the moon. One small step for man, one giant step for mankind. Or however it went. Richard Nixon calling the moon where my landline. And now that I'm older and have done a lot more research, I've got some information through the Freedom of Information Act and looked at some of the NASA documents and all that other stuff. I don't believe we landed there. Saw Buzz Aldrin some years ago saying we, the little 8-year-old girl was asking him the question, and he told her, we never landed there. I saw another astronaut in 2007 when asked why haven't we went back to the moon. He said because we destroyed all the technology uh, from back then, and we don't have the capacity to go back now. See, I got a problem with that. We need cell phone towers every 5 miles or so to be able to talk to one another now. But you telling me we had the technology in the 60s to land on the moon and call the moon from the White House? Man, who you kidding? But they made it look good. They sold us on it. And, but I got this, one buddy, he 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 doesn't believe in the Bible. So I don't even try to explain that aspect to him. You know, I took information from NASA, told him about it. He still won't believe it. I told him what about Buzz Aldrin said. He don't believe it because he said when Buzz Aldrin came to Houston some years ago, he went downtown to the mall where he had a book signing. He met him and asked him some questions, and he believed what Buzz told him. Okay, dude, fine. What you think he gonna tell you on a public platform? And so I just asked him, well, how did Nixon call the moon from a landline? And when I asked that, he switched gears on me and asked me that I believe in UFOs. I said, I haven't spent too much energy trying to, so he goes on his PhD dissertation, trying to convince me that UFOs exist. I don't know. I don't care to know. I understand what the Bible says about demons and angels. That's all I care about. I don't care about all that other stuff. I'm gonna be honest with you. I never got a whole lot of interest in it. I knew the TV show used to come on X-Files, never watched it. Yeah, I was a big fan of Walker Texas Ranger, and I would watch Walker Texas Ranger over and over and over again. But it was one episode of Walker Texas Ranger I never had no interest in. The one where they were talking about UFOs. I didn't care about it. So every time I knew that one come on, I would change the channel. And so I haven't spent too much time on. So, you know, I noticed my entire life that the only people who've ever seen UFOs have been white. Everybody that I've ever personally talked to, I've personally talked to white people about UFOs in the past. They've always been white. They've told me they existed. I've never talked to a black person that told me UFOs exist. I've never seen a black person on a UFO documentary. They've always been white. And I'm not putting white people down. I'm just saying. That's been my experience. And I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time trying to study it. Well, you don't have to waste your time sending me any documentaries about UFOs because I'm not going to watch them. Um, after we had that conversation, this was about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. He sent me several videos, and okay, and I just responded, I check them out. I eventually check them out. And he contacted me the next day. Have you watched them yet? And no, I haven't. Dude, you need to, because it goes deep down a rabbit hole. Hey, man, I'll be honest with you. I'll look at them for entertainment value, but I'm not gonna put a whole lot of stock into UFOs. People who focus on UFOs and aliens are trying to ignore demons and angels. I said it. Nobody else told me that. I said it. I have people sending me videos every day, and I always get around to watching them. I might not be able to get to them the same day they send them, but I get around to watching them at some point. Now, the UFOs are going to be way down on the list of watching them because, out of respect, I will watch what you send me. I'm going to watch all the videos, but I got people sending me videos every freaking day. And sometimes I just get so many videos, I just stop looking at them. I don't, I'll go sometimes a week without watching a video because it's just too much sometimes. And like I said, I've never seen any black people in UFO documentaries, so don't waste your time sending me none of them videos or trying to point me. I'm not gonna search for them. I'm not gonna look for them. I've been very critical of blacks who enter politics hoping to change something and eventually become part of the problem. And see, one thing you should know is there have been plans on the books for years about what to do within black communities. A few days ago, I actually saw a video there where Dulles International Airport sits in up in DC, and I've flown into that airport. But come to find out, Dulles was built on land that was taken from black people. It was a black community called Willard, I believe, Willard, I believe, and it was a black community. And I was looking at one of the gentlemen who was being interviewed, and he said, "Yeah," he said, "I remember being a child." He said, "And my dad built our house from on his own, two-story house." He said, "And we got a letter from the government. So they got a letter from the government the other day. I opened and read it. It said they were suckers, but he said my parents got a letter from the government said September 1958 said the government had condemned the land, and we had to get off the land immediately." And then they stole all them black people's land and built Dulles International Airport there. And so it happens. Sadly, your black council people and your black Congress people know this already, and they do and say nothing to the people they supposedly love, us as blacks. And see, they know well in advance about the gentrification process long before any of us ever hear about it. Then, when it becomes public knowledge, they get on their podiums and act like they will not stand for what the system is doing to us, while at the same time they cater to the system, doing what they have been groomed to do. They put on a show for us as blacks. I saw a video with Judge Joe Brown some years back, and he was saying there's a class that blacks who enter politics have to attend so they'll know how to act within the confines of the system. He said there's a grooming class to make sure black politicians don't overstep their boundaries. And excuse me for a second. Sorry about that. That was actually a scam call. But he was saying there's a class that blacks who enter politics have to attend so they'll know how to act. See, you can't fight the system by joining the system. We don't own or control the system, so we will never change the system. That's one of the reasons the civil rights movement didn't work out like it should have. After some time has passed, those blacks who've entered office have actually become professional politicians themselves, and everything in our communities gets worse. Show me one thing in our communities that's improved since the 70s when we started getting all these black politicians, other than a exponential increase in black politicians. That's the only thing we've got more of. We've got more politicians, more crime, more death, more destruction, more poverty since all of them entered office. And the more of them enter office, the worse our communities get. How can they spend so much time in office and things never improve for us as a people? The only times things improve in our black communities under black politicians most of the time is when the gentrification process takes place. Then they want to get on their podiums and say they brought new business into the black community. No, they brought new business into the community they are striving to create by replacing black residents. See, the area I live in, all these decades been called Sunnyside. Now, because they want access for what we have, they've renamed our area Medical Center South because they're trying to make it attractive to other people. And see, all the black people, well, not all of them, but a great majority of the black people ran away from Sunnyside because when we had white flight out of here. We had black flight right behind it. Then they had another white flight. They kept white flying further and further out, and black people kept flying further and further out with them. And historically, white people have always been paid more than us in this country. So they were moving out, earning more. We were moving out trying to keep up with them while they were saving. And now we've overextended ourselves moving way out. And now they've taken the money that they've been saving and coming back and buying up the properties and homes we left because we had no pride in black owned. So now they coming back in buying the dilapidated properties that we left alone after our parents and grandparents died because we didn't want to take care of it. And so the taxes then ate it up. And so they're coming in buying the properties at auction, buying the empty land at auction. And now they're building 4, 5, $600,000 houses on the land you left. And now we want to complain about gentrification in our communities. No, you left it, Negro. Then your black politicians want to sit there and talk about we doing this for y'all. No, they ain't. They doing it for other people. They doing it for the people that's putting the money in their pockets. But amazingly many people agree with my stance on most things until I hit the hot button. They spent a lot of time learning and educating themselves about and things they support. Then when they become critical of me, I'm being criticized and corrected by a lot of people because I hit on hot buttons for them. Black slave owner, this Negro don't know what he's talking about. I don't like this. He don't know what the hell he's talking about. Fill in the blank or whatever, you want to call, whatever name you want to call me. I've been called it. I deleted about 250 comments off that thread. It's well over 1,500, I think. But I just got tired of fooling with it. But, even in the video where I got the information from was a book from Carter G. Woodson, Free Blacks Who Owned Slaves. I believe he wrote that book in the 1930s. And I put the link in the description box. And they told me, all these folks telling me I don't know what I'm talking about. I think Carter G. Woodson was much closer to the institution of slavery than me. I think Carter G. Woodson might have knew what he was talking about. But because I shared the information, now we mad because we want to only blame white people. You know, I talk about the charlatans in the pulpit. Christian, this dude don't know what he's talking about. I talk about black politicians. Who else is gonna fight for us? The Republicans ain't gonna do nothing. We need these black Democrats. Them black Democrats ain't did nothing for you. What Flavor Flav say? You can't do nothing for me, man. And so everybody got a trigger. The only trigger most people ain't got is common sense. Common sense ain't triggering nobody. I talk about schooling. So you saying we shouldn't have education? Relationship. Everybody ain't got the kind of wife you found, or you too hard on folks. And don't talk about women submitting to their husband. Now, you know what? Outside of developing and following a spiritual path for your life, your Your relationships are going to be the hardest thing to maintain because most people in this society are fickle. Are the shots really proven to be effective? Well, you ain't no doctor. Well, look at what your doctors have done with their lives behind those protocols. How many people have been harmed? And I got to be careful skating around this subject because YouTube will come in and say we had to remove this content too. And 'cause, they removing my videos now. And YouTube actually removes videos, and they do it so eloquently. We remove your video, and we don't think you intentionally tried to mislead people, so we didn't put a strike against your account because of that. So because we know sometimes people make mistakes, and we'll just let it slide. And so we just want to let you know, and this is the point in the video where we um had an issue with. And but at the time I made the videos, that's what the truth was at the time. That information was available at the time. And when I appeal, well, we stand by our decision. So they won't even allow you to appeal. So let me move on. YouTube removes video view counts on my videos. And I saw a video one day on the Black church when I was in the upload section. I was actually putting some more videos in the upload section. I haven't finished the editing process. I just put them in the upload section for now. And the video had 507 views. And I went back the next day, I think, and that same video had 470 views. So how did the video lose 37 views in less than 24 hours? Because I've told I probably got about another 25 videos that's uploaded already. It's just a matter of doing the editing process. And like I said, you know, y'all used to seeing me upload every month, and it's like, I spend a whole lot of energy I spend a lot of time researching and studying this stuff, and for somebody to come and do whatever they can to minimize what I'm saying. So, like I said, if y'all got some ideas out there which platform you think might be best or more beneficial that y'all will be willing to go to, because I've used the Odyssey platform, but nobody, um, even the video I did on should we really be singing God Bless America, I put that on Odyssey first. I said, and I even put in there where to go find it, and you know, nobody watching it. So y'all tell me where y'all would rather go, and I'll evaluate it and look at it and see. But YouTube demonetized me some years ago. They pushed my videos way down the algorithm. Facebook has severely restricted my accounts. They literally sent me a notice on one of my fan pages on Black History, and said I would have restrictions on their Black History fan page until April 2025. They sent me that in November 2023. They even gave my motivational fan page restriction because I posted that certain diseases cannot survive in an alkaline environment. Because my motivational page is also giving information on getting ourselves healthy. That's part of motivation. And so I said that certain diseases cannot survive in an alkaline environment. And so they hit me with a restriction because their fact checker said it wasn't true. They even said a post of mine that talked about the benefits of drinking water was misinformation. Well, see, the problem I have with that is I actually went to a seminar by a doctor who taught about properly drinking water and how we should be drinking it. So, is the actual doctor who has used his system to treat and help people wrong, or are the Facebook fact checkers wrong? See, if you've spent a lot of time schooling, especially if you have multiple degrees, you hate it if I criticize education. But see, the problem is that in reality, I'm not criticizing education. I'm criticizing schooling. I believe in education more than most people would even understand. How were our ancestors educating themselves before the General Education Board created by John Rockefeller came along? What was John Rockefeller's cultural background? I'll let you figure that out. Who created, founded, and funded the great majority of your HBCUs? And go check their cultural background. David Banner, I was looking at a video by David Banner the other day. Y'all know rapper David Banner. He says black people are the only community that sends its best and brightest students to predominantly white institutions. He said HBCUs uh, shouldn't even be it shouldn't be a choice. It should be our only choice. That's what he said. I was trying to figure out how he said it. He said it shouldn't be a choice. It should be black people's only choice. See, but these people didn't want black people to attend what they considered pristine universities, predominantly white, built off the backs of slaves. But they still wanted to control the education that blacks who wanted to assimilate into larger society received. See, go back and listen to that video I did on the caste system, CASTE, and colorism, caste or something like that. Even allowing, say, most people don't know. They talk about they promote W.E.B. Du Bois, going to Harvard and all the first black, but they don't even understand the real reasoning behind that. He was allowed to attend Harvard because it was nothing more than a social and science experiment to see if a hand-picked black of the light-skinned caste could learn next to whites. Then isn't it amazing that he was also handpicked to be the face of the NAACP, which is not a black organization? That's why it says National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. Go find out who the colored people are. What were the cultural backgrounds of the true founders of the NAACP? Oh, make no mistake about it. I believe in education. For me, though, education forced upon me is not what I was ever interested in. I was never interested in it. Even going back to elementary school. Y'all have heard me talk about my situation in elementary school. What they thought was punishment, I thought was opportunity. I thought it was opportunity for freedom. You know, elementary school, going to school was something they said I had to do. So I had to tolerate it. The education forced upon us is the type of education that allows the system to control us. That's why most people can't think of outside of what the educational system has taught us. It's an education that shows we have been loyal and obedient and approved by the system. Now, although I attended the University of Houston, it was not my first choice. That came as a process of elimination. I ain't had no money to leave the city. And other local universities, Texas Southern University, didn't. They were known for the pharmacy program, not engineering. My first choice for college was Prairie View A&M University, predominantly black university up in uh, another part of Texas, about an hour away, hour up the road. But even that's part of the Texas A&M university system. So it's not, even though it's a HBCU, it's not a HBCU. But I want to attend Prairie View A&M. Mother had went to Prairie View, and had went to Prairie View. So I wasn't going because they went. They just had an exceptional engineering program. They said if you wanted a black engineer, that's what most big companies came to find their black engineers. And like I said, I had no money to live on campus, and I didn't have a vehicle that have made the 1 hour commute each way. It was a 1 hour drive both ways. And, you know, my hoopty, my Pinto ain't gonna make it. My Pinto couldn't make it to the north side on a regular basis without breaking down. And then around that same time, Prairie View had canceled their football program because they had lost, so I think, close to 100 games in a row, and so they just canceled the football program for a while. And like I said, it was widely known that the best and brightest black engineering students in the country went to Prairie View. And I was going to be a chemical engineer. So staying at home and attending U of H was the only other option for me for chemical engineering, because my second choice for college was Baylor University. And Baylor's a private school. So you know how quick that ended as soon as it started. But even though I had applied and been accepted to Baylor on my academics. But why did I choose Baylor? It had a great engineering program. But the main reason I wanted to attend Baylor was because of one of my high school coaches who coached Mike Singletary. Y'all know, all pro Chicago Bear middle linebacker Mike Singletary on the 85 Super Bowl Chicago Bears team. And this school coach said he had not had an athlete that reminded him of Singletary until I came along. Me and Singletary attended the same high school, so step one was complete. We were coached by the same coach, so step two was complete. Singletary went to Baylor, so I want to go to Baylor. And Singletary made it to the NFL. You know, I figured I had the talent to make it to the NFL even before my coach had ever said anything to to me about Singletary and some of my other teammates about me. You know, because I played with some other guys in high school that went to the NFL. I played with a lot of guys in college who went to the NFL. So why did I give you a piece of my history? Because when you criticize something, many people in society will try to label you as dumb if it doesn't fit the narrative that they believe in. See, they think when I start criticizing stuff, I'm criticizing because I don't have the credentials that society says I should have to be regarded as somebody worthy to be respected. See, if I chose chemical engineering as my major, you see, most have heard of John Rockefeller, like I mentioned earlier. You know, he started what we call public school, General Education Board. You know, but did you ever hear John Rockefeller quote about workers? He said he would rather have a nation of workers, not a nation of thinkers. See, Rockefeller wanted a nation of submissive and obedient people, but we do what the system tells us to do and we think we are free. Why would Rockefeller be thinking in national terms 122 years ago when he started this system? Look at the educational backgrounds of most of your billionaires in this country and tell me where they graduated from. Very few of them have college degrees. So are they workers of thinking? And you also need to check out their cultural backgrounds too. How were we educated before we needed system approval? See, according to the standards of society, you know, I'm not educated at all because I don't have pieces of paper saying I am educated. If you spent a lot of time in churches and pulpits, you think I'm criticizing the Bible, but I'm criticizing Christianity. Here I am, just a guy who loves to learn, studying the Bible on my own, without a pastor telling me what the Bible supposedly says. So, according to the standards of society, I have no right to teach the Bible. I didn't go to cemetery, and I don't have years uh, behind a pulpit under my belt, so I don't qualify to teach the Bible, according to professional preachers and professional Christians. You've heard me reference Acts 9:15 when Ananias got the vision from Yahushua about Paul and say, I know some people don't give Paul's words any credibility, so they ignore all of his New Testament teaching. You know, I've heard many people over the course of years who have actually said, when I talked about something in the New Testament, that those are Paul's words, not the words of Jesus. Well, technically, nothing in the Bible are the words of Jesus because that's not his name. Guess what? In Acts 26, the 20 Acts 26 verses 15 through 18, I believe. Uh, the Messiah tells us he gave authority to Paul. Hold on a second. Let me find it right quick. I think it's Acts 26. Yeah, Acts 26 verse 15 to 18. Let me read that right quick. And I said, who are you, master? And he said, I am Adonai, whom you persecute, but rise up and stand on your feet. For I have appeared to you for this purpose, to appoint you a servant and a witness both of what you saw and of those which I shall reveal to you, delivering you from the people and the Gentiles to whom I now send you, to whom I now send you, to open their eyes, to turn them from darkness to light and authority of Satan to Elohim, in order for them to receive forgiveness of sins and an inheritance among those who are set apart by belief in me. So, right there, that nullifies everybody that says they don't listen to Paul's word because Paul just got the authority right there for the second time from the Messiah. See, Ananias was told that the authority had been given to Paul in a vision. And then there you have it right there in Acts 26, where Paul actually received the authority. himself personally from the Messiah. See, I just saw a debate between a man of the Muslim faith and a preacher. And the Muslim told the preacher he doesn't believe in Christianity. And the preacher said he didn't either. And the preacher told him he didn't either. And now I have a problem with this preacher. And because he said he doesn't believe in Christianity. But when he preaches, he references the people in his church as Christians. Uh, he doesn't believe preachers should be paid, but he believes you should tithe. And say, well, over the years, especially when I was working on my book, but hey, what do I know? Available at Amazon, Barnes and Noble, directly through me. Um, I studied that tithing issue real heavy, and I still study the tithing issue, and I'm still not agreeing with it. What a lot of these guys are teaching, because tithing was to a specific people at a specific time, and it was never money. See, but this is the thing most of your preachers will never fully explain. And say, I have some personal reasons why I criticize the medical and legal profession, and you're not going to deny my experiences. I've mentioned before that I used to vote Democrat. Then I voted Republican. Then I studied some more. Then I voted as a what they call it, independent. And now I don't participate at all. And see, the question people, especially black people, always ask when I criticize their pre-selected puppet is, so you saying we shouldn't vote at all? I never said that. I just said I don't vote anymore. See, how long will you keep playing the same game, knowing long beforehand that at the end of the game, you are going to be the one who loses? That's exactly what's happening in this political system in America. You think by voting for Trump, things are going to improve? Where's George Strait right now? Strait has a song called Oceanfront Property in Arizona. See, Trump is still controlled opposition. Trump said he was going to drain the swamp. He exposed some of the swamp, but the swamp creatures increased. Trump is loyal to the same people that Biden is loyal to, just a different way. You plan on voting for Trump? Go ahead. That's your choice. If he is reselected, and I think he will be, there will be an agenda most people won't recognize take place. Then they will blame the opposition party. Don't forget who pushed the shot agenda first. What you think? Who you think created Operation Warp Speed? Things keep getting progressively worse, and we think by changing the face of the person each election, because that's all we're doing. We're changing the face. We think we're changing party, but it ain't nothing but one party with two names, Democrat and Republican. That's one party now. Things keep getting progressively worse. And we think by changing the face of the person each selection, notice I said selection, not election, or changing a party affiliation, things are going to improve. Look at the last 10 years. Look at the last 10 years. Have things improved? We got police shooting at a black man in a police SUV because an acorn fell from a tree and the cop said someone fired at him, and he and his partner unloaded their weapons into the SUV. Here recently in Texas, police unloaded hundreds of rounds of ammunition on a black lady's apartment because they thought she was an intruder in her own home. Another black woman was being harassed by the local police chief, and he and one of his deputies were trying to gain access to her home to talk. If they were going to talk, why was the deputy walking around her house turning the doorknobs trying to get in? The chief said they were following up on a welfare check from a previous bad encounter she already had with other officers. The Acorn incident happened in Florida. Now, I'm not sure what part of the mayor of that city was, but here in Texas, the county that took place, the mayor is a Democrat right here in Harris County, where I live. And I don't remember what, off the top of my head, what city the welfare check cop were in. These are just a few incidents. There are many more to continue to happen around the country, regardless of who's in control. Why do black folks still need to live in a state of fear in many cases? I saw another incident where an elderly black man was walking down the street. This was some months ago, as he did every day. He uses an umbrella as a cane just in case it rains while he's out walking. This white female cop drove her car back around the corner because somebody else was filming, approached him and started screaming at him and took him to jail because she said he hit her police cruiser with his cane. The gentleman said he didn't even see her past him, so he had no clue what she was talking about. She was adamant that the man hit her cruiser and she took him in anyway. Witness and camera accounts prove she was just harassing this gentleman. See, just because I criticize Democrats doesn't make me a Republican. And just because I criticize Republicans don't mean I'm a Democrat. Black people love Jimmy Carter, the peanut farmer. But I guarantee you, most of them had no clue that his family were cotton farmers for several generations. You do know what that means, right? Chew on that for a minute. And my wife was taking me to therapy one morning because I'm still not able to drive. And we saw all of the political signs for the candidates running for everything, including a person running for school crossing guard. My wife, who's never voted a day in her life, asked the question, why do they need to put party labels on their signs? It was a rhetorical question because she already knew the answer. I said, they have to do that because they know voters can't think. So the party label lets the voter know where his or her place is. If you took the labels off and let people vote based on the issues, we would see more of what we have, and people will see how messed up their thought process is, and then they will be like the people running from California. See, but the problem with the people running from California, especially, that's why Austin is Texas is so liberal now, because a lot of them yahoos from California done moved to Austin. But they done brought that same mindset that they ran from of the mess they created in California. Now they want to bring it to Texas. That's why they hate Greg Abbott so much. So their mindset hasn't changed. It's kind of like the people who do plastic surgery to lose weight, and later on they regain more of the weight back. They gain the weight back plus some. Because you know why? Because their mindset hasn't changed. So they engage in all the same behaviors that caused the original weight gain. You got one guy running for Senate down here who says on his commercial that he wants to fight for the women to have the right to abort their babies so they can receive adequate health care. He said he hates to think what would happen if his wife didn't receive adequate health care. Well, see, the problem is his wife is white. So the healthcare system in this country gives white women preferential treatment during pregnancy. Hey, don't get mad at me for telling you the truth. I have a video somewhere on this channel about the treatment of pregnant black women. It might have been one of them they removed. I don't know. Sadly, this still happens right today, although we claim to have made so many racial advances. I remember communicating with my congressman officer about the abortion issue, and his reply was, well, that's between a woman and her spiritual advisor. Well, if that's the case, why do Democrats spend so much time telling women that it's their right to kill their babies? It's their issue when they want votes, but it's not their issue if you question them. I've shared videos about the medical system. And like I said, 2 of them have been removed because they said I'm providing medical misinformation. No, they restricted my reach severely. Not because of just those videos, just my channel in general. My videos hardly receive 50 views on average now. So who's being triggered by what I say? The recent video they removed was my body, my choice. Doesn't apply anymore. It's amazing. Oh, now don't worry. Every video that's uploaded to YouTube, I already have uploaded somewhere else and also is always on one hard drive and an external hard drive. So I'm not losing my content. YouTube might be removing the content, but Myron ain't losing the content. Just so we're clear about that. But it's amazing that they keep saying I'm providing medical information, but after 3 years, it continues to get proven over and over again that the folks pushing this medical agenda were lying to us over and over again, yet their content remains for viewers to see. I mean, these folks are so wicked in their evilness, their wickedness, that they done came up with every freaking reason out here why people having heart attacks at age 20 now. Oh, watching TV too late at night. Oh, if you lonely. If you sleeping by yourself. If you look at the sun too long. I mean, if you fart too loud, I mean, they coming up with every reason they can to say why people having heart attacks and telling the people why people having heart attacks. Now, YouTube, I didn't say what was causing the heart attacks. I was just saying all the reason they came up to why more people are having heart attacks. Why have cancer rates skyrocketed in people under age 45? Why AIDS done exploded? Why have diabetes exploded within the last 3 years? I'm just asking questions, YouTube. I'm not providing medical advice. I'm just asking questions. Now, as I record this video, I want you to read something. I want to read you something um, that's currently going on. Now, this is not my information, YouTube. This is from the Maxine Injury Compensation Program. Maxine, you know it ain't Maxine. As of January 1st, there were 12,854 claims filed for injuries caused by Mr. 19 countermeasures with the government's Countermeasures Injury Compensation Program, CICP, including 9,600 related to injuries caused by Mr. 19 vaccines. Of the 12,854 claims, 2,214 have been processed, but only 40 claims have been found eligible for compensation, according to testimony given during a February 15 hearing of the Select Subcommittee on the beer corona pandemic. There's a backlog of about 10,800 claims, with only 35 employees processing claims at a rate of 2.7 cases per employee per month. It would take about 10 years to process the remaining claims. That's the end of that. See, but even in spite of that, the shots have now basically been added to the yearly schedule with your flu shot. And now, they don't tell you that. They don't say yearly, but you pay attention to the commercials and tell me what you seeing on your television now. I'm not trying to lead people to water, trying to get them to drink. My goal is to put so much salt in your throat that you yourself become thirsty. So, what's your trigger?